Let me ask you something that no one's brave enough to ask. How did a country once known for call centers and cheap labor suddenly start building weapons that made America's jaw drop? This isn't a hype story. This is real. And if you think this is about missiles and machines, you're wrong. This is about transformation, innovation, disruption at a national level. 10 Indian weapons, 10. Each one so advanced, so unexpected, that even the Pentagon had to stop and recheck their data. So I want to just start to recheck the data. And if you're wondering, why should I care? Here's your answer. Because the same mindset, the same strategy that built these weapons is the exact one you need to win in your career, your startup, your life. So don't blink, because by the time we hit number 10, you won't just respect India's military power. You'll be asking yourself, what can I build that changes everything? What if we stop waiting for the world to sell us solutions and start building our own? Things began to change. No fireworks, no viral moments, just consistent effort behind closed doors. Until one day, it wasn't silent anymore. India test-fired the Agni-V, a long-range ballistic missile that could reach deep into any major adversary's territory. And guess what? We didn't buy it. We built it from scratch, with Indian brains on Indian soil, using Indian resources. Why this shift matters more than you think. This isn't just about missiles and tanks. This is a mindset revolution. Because every time India made a leap in indigenous defense capability, it was a signal to its citizens, to the world, to its enemies. We don't follow anymore, we lead. Think about it. Going from a country that couldn't build its own rifles to building hypersonic missile prototypes, stealth drones, and even AI-powered surveillance systems, that's not progress. That's a reinvention. And the best part, it wasn't built on unlimited budgets or imported know-how. It was built on sheer will, on figuring things out with what we had, on failing, learning, and trying again, 1,000 times if needed. That's how India flipped the script. The global impact the world is finally watching today. U.S. defense analysts, think tanks, and generals study what India is building. Why? Because India isn't just catching up. In some areas, it's leapfrogging. Take the BrahMos missile. Co-developed with Russia, yes, but now refined and manufactured by India. It's the fastest supersonic cruise missile in the world. Not fast for India. Fast. Period. So now countries like the Philippines and Vietnam are lining up to buy Indian weapons. Not charity, not favors, business. And America? Oh, they're watching closely. Not because they fear India, but because they respect what India's become. Final thought. What you can learn from this. Look, this keynote isn't about nationalism. It's about something much deeper. The moment you stop waiting for permission and start building your own path, you stop being a follower, you become a force. India made that shift, and so can you. Whether it's your career, your business, or your vision. You don't need to be the smartest, you just need to decide. India stopped asking for help and started creating history. Now the world is watching. Are you? Let's rewind to 1998. India conducted a series of nuclear tests in Pokhran. The world, especially the West, didn't applaud. They punished. Sanctions, trade bans, technology blackouts. America, France, even longtime allies turned their backs. India was cut off from critical components, software, and weapon systems. And for a while, it looked like India would crumble under the pressure. But something unexpected happened. India didn't fold. It focused. If the world won't help us, we'll figure it out ourselves. And in that moment, India's defense mindset shifted from buying better to building smarter. Necessity forced ingenuity. When you're denied access to GPS, you build your own, and India did. Navic, a fully indigenous navigation system. When other nations refuse to sell you cryogenic rocket engines, you build your own. ISRO did it. And now those engines power missions to the moon and Mars. In the defense sector, this necessity-driven creativity became a pattern. India couldn't import critical stealth tech, so it started developing radar-absorbent materials. Denied high-end drones, so Indian startups began designing AI-based drone swarms. Missile tech blocked DRDO, and Indian scientists created the Agni, Prithvi, and BrahMos families. And here's the truth. Most of these systems weren't just good enough. They were competitive, sometimes superior. The world underestimated India. Big mistake. For years, global powers saw India as a developing country with potential. They never expected India to take a band and turn it into a blueprint. They didn't see a country of 1.4 billion engineers, scientists, coders, and soldiers working together, backed by necessity and relentless urgency. They didn't expect a country dealing with poverty, border tensions, and resource challenges to also emerge as a technology powerhouse. But India doesn't just survive adversity, it weaponizes it. What America saw as roadblocks, India turned into labs. What China saw as delays, India used as fuel. And the result? 10 years later, many of those very same countries were buying Indian-made weapons and satellites. That's innovation born from necessity. That's resilience turned into power. A country that learned to say, we'll build it. You want to know what separates ordinary nations from extraordinary ones? It's not GDP. It's not military size. It's not resources. It's this. Do they wait for someone to save them, or do they build anyway? India chose to build, even when no one believed, even when parts were missing, even when budgets were tight. And today, it's building. Hypersonic missile programs, indigenous fighter jets, Tejas MK2, smart loitering munitions, AI-guided artillery fire systems, stealth-capable drones. All this, not because India had the best cards, but because it refused to fold. The lesson? Pressure doesn't break you, it builds you. Here's what I want you to remember. Every single person watching this, you've had a moment in your life where you felt blocked, trapped, denied. And in that moment, you had two choices: complain, blame, wait, create anyway, build anyway, rise anyway. That's exactly what India did. India's defense transformation didn't come from luxury. It came from lack. It came from people who said, we'll do it anyway, watch us. So next time you feel stuck, like the world is holding you back, remember this: necessity is not your enemy, it's your opportunity. India proved it, now it's your turn. Here's a truth most people miss. Not every weapon changes the game. A new rifle? Great. A better radar? Sure. But a game changer is something that forces your enemy to rethink how they fight. Something that shifts doctrine, changes war strategy, creates new defense alliances. And right now, India is quietly, almost humbly, building technologies that do exactly that. Let's look at a few that have sent shockwaves through military think tanks across the globe. Increasingly, the efforts of terrorists to reach and destroy interrogant cities. The terrorists want something that does something, that forces your enemy to think twice. Sometimes the terrorists have already thought twice, but look at a few that have sent shockwaves through military think tanks across the globe. 1. BrahMos, the fastest supersonic cruise missile on Earth. This isn't science fiction. This is real, deployed, and combat ready. The BrahMos missile, co-developed with Russia but now being manufactured and evolved in India, is the fastest cruise missile in the world, traveling at nearly Mach 3. It can evade radar, fly at treetop height, hit moving targets at incredible precision, be launched from land, air, sea, and submarines. The U.S. doesn't even have a direct equivalent, and that's the point. This missile changed the battlefield rules. Any Navy that sees BrahMos pointed at its fleet knows you don't just defend, you rethink everything. 2. Smart AI-driven drone swarms. You know what's more dangerous than one drone? 50 drones working as one unit. India is developing and testing autonomous drone swarms, smart systems capable of identifying targets in real time, coordinating like a flock of birds, overwhelming enemy air defenses. This is next-gen war. No human pilot, no risk to soldiers, just cold, fast, thinking machines flying toward you, too fast to stop, too many to track. It's terrifying, it's revolutionary, and India is leading this race. 3. AI-enabled combat command and control. Most people still picture war as tanks and guns, but modern warfare, it's about data. India is now deploying AI-based systems in battlefield decision-making. We're talking about real-time analysis of terrain, threats, weather, instant recommendations to field commanders, predictive modeling of enemy troop movements. It's like giving your army a superpower, the ability to think 10 steps ahead, 10 times faster. America, China, Israel, they've all invested billions into this. India, quietly building its own systems, not for show, for dominance. 4. Tejas MCAP-2 and MCAP, India's next-gen fighter jets. No more dependency. India's defense aviation sector has taken a massive leap with Tejas Mi-2, a light combat aircraft now fitted with world-class avionics, smart weapons, and low radar signature AMCA. A fifth-generation stealth multi-role fighter being designed from scratch in India to rival the F-35. Let that sink in. A country once mocked for importing outdated MiGs, now designing its own stealth fighters. And guess what? Nations are lining up, not just to watch, but to buy. 5. Quantum communication and cyber warfare capabilities. Most people don't see this part, but the smartest militaries do. India is investing in quantum communication systems that are almost impossible to hack. Offensive cyber capabilities that can disable enemy power grids, air defenses, even satellites. This isn't a flex. It's a message. We're not just building weapons. We're building the future. So why does this matter? Because when a country goes from buying tech to building it, that's impressive. But when it goes from building to changing the rules of global warfare, that's a warning shot to every major power. India is not just arming itself, it's reshaping the battlefield through innovation, intelligence, and sheer will. And if you're sitting there thinking this is just about military strength, you're missing the bigger picture. This is what happens when a nation bets on brains over budgets. Game-changing innovation isn't optional anymore. We're in an era where normal gets you nowhere. Whether you're building a startup, leading a team, or writing code, you need to be asking yourself, am I making tools or am I changing the game? Because India's defense sector, they chose the latter. And now the world is playing by their rules. Let's break it down. For decades, India was known as the world's largest arms importer. The US sold us gear, Russia sold us gear, France, Israel, the UK, all lined up to do business. We were customers, buyers. But now, India's not just buying weapons, it's building them, exporting them. In India's market for arms, important to India's exporting sector, offers expensive vehicle software to save money. Engineers and dealers are now outsourcing weapons to the world. The world has more and more energy than copper. And that means dealers and Portland, refining them. And that is what made the US turn its head and say, hold on, where did this come from? They weren't watching India to be impressed. They were watching to sell. But then they realized India might soon be the competition. Wait, they built that? Moments. Let's talk about specifics. BrahMos, fastest supersonic cruise missile in the world. No American system matches its speed and deployment versatility. BrahMos Astra air-to-air missile, built to go toe-to-toe with American AMRAAMs, tested successfully, indigenous, deadly, cheap. Tejas fighter jet, once doubted, now refined, combat-ready, exported and being considered by multiple nations instead of US-made aircraft. Agni-V, India's long-range ballistic missile with intercontinental range. And oh yeah, can carry nukes. When these projects first popped up in briefings inside US defense circles, the reaction wasn't arrogance and sentiment of defeat, but modesty, pomp, doubt, respect for history, and enmity for spite. When these projects first popped up in briefings inside US defense circles, the reaction wasn't arrogance and sentiment of defeat. When these projects first popped up in briefings inside US defense circles, the reaction wasn't arrogance or sentiment of it was, wait, how did they pull this off so fast? Because this isn't just about India catching up, it's about India doing more with less. Faster, smarter, leaner. And that's what really shook the room. America isn't just watching, it's studying. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. Think tanks like RAND, Brookings, and CSIS are analyzing India's defense strategy shifts. Military attachés are flying to DRDO demos and asking detailed questions. And they do so, defense contractors are trying to partner with Indian firms, not just to sell, but to collaborate. Why? Because India is proving something every major superpower quietly fears. You don't need a $1 trillion military-industrial complex to build dominance. You need a reason, a roadmap, relentless execution. And that's what India is doing. Not loudly, but effectively. India's secret weapon, cost-effective innovation, one of the biggest shocks to the US defense community, wasn't what India built. It was how cheaply they built it. While the US spends hundreds of billions to develop a single stealth jet platform, India is producing competitive systems at a fraction of the cost, without sacrificing core performance. That's not just innovation, that's disruption. It's like watching someone build a smartphone that works as well as the iPhone for $99.00. That's not a fluke. That's a problem if you're a defense contractor used to bloated budgets and long deadlines. India has turned lean development into a lethal advantage. A new respect on the global stage today. The US doesn't just tolerate India in the room. They want India at the table. As a defense partner, as a tech collaborator, as a geopolitical counterweight to China. From joint military exercises to strategic dialogues to defense treaties, the US is no longer just selling to India. It's paying attention to what India is doing next. And when that shift happens, when a superpower goes from viewing you as a customer to seeing you as a peer, that's respect. That's power. That's earned. So what's the takeaway for you? This keynote isn't about missiles and tanks. It's about this core truth. When you stop seeking validation and start showing results, even your biggest critics take notice. India didn't demand respect. It built it, brick by brick, launch by launch, mission by mission. And now, the most powerful military in the world is watching closely. So the next time someone underestimates you, good, let them. Then go do something that makes them double take. India didn't just want to manufacture weapons under foreign licenses. It wanted to own the intellectual property. It wanted to design the blueprints. It wanted to deploy systems that were 100% Indian, from idea to execution. That mindset shift, it's massive. It turned India into an innovator, not a follower, a creator, not a customer, a sovereign military power, not a dependent state. The result? Today, over 75% of India's defense capital procurement is focused on indigenous systems. That's not a statistic, that's a signal. A signal to the world. India will no longer ask for strength. It's building it. Real weapons, real progress, real power. This isn't theoretical. Let's talk about what's actually happening. Tejas light combat aircraft designed by HAL and ADA flies with cutting-edge avionics and radar systems. Built on Indian soil, by Indian engineers, for Indian defense needs. Countries like Argentina, Egypt, and the Philippines are eyeing it for purchase. Agni and Preethi missile series strategic missile programs that were 100% developed within India include nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missiles like Agni-V, fully indigenous with guidance, propulsion, and control systems all developed domestically. You normally don't see these missiles. DRDO's smart anti-airfield weapon, a glide bomb capable of striking enemy runways with surgical precision. Lightweight, long range, and entirely Indian in design. Navic navigation system, India's own version of GPS, built to ensure independence from foreign satellite systems during critical operations. That's not just production. That's independence in action. Innovation born at home. Here's what makes India's indigenous rise so unique. It didn't come from massive defense budgets like the US. It didn't come from a military-industrial complex like Russia. It came from ISRO scientists working on missile tech at midnight, DRDO engineering what the West wouldn't sell, private startups in Bangalore and Hyderabad developing battlefield AI and swarm drones, and the pressure, and pressure finally turned an unpredicted AI to stop a mission and make all life more successful and fortifying for all. Soldiers giving feedback from the field and seeing updates within months, not years. This is innovation that's fast, frugal, and fearless. India proved something the world forgot. You don't need to be rich to be advanced. You just need to be relentlessly committed to self-reliance. Adminir Barbarat. Not a policy, a mindset. You've heard the phrase. Adminir Barbarat, self-reliant India. But this isn't just political branding. In defense, it's a doctrine. It means building your own fighter jets instead of leasing them, developing homegrown surveillance satellites to watch your borders without foreign eyes, training your coders to build next-gen cybersecurity tools to defend your digital infrastructure, telling the world we trust ourselves more than we trust your exports. This mindset isn't just creating weapons, it's creating confidence, ownership, national pride. Why this should fire you up? Because here's the truth. When a nation builds something for itself, it doesn't just create strength. It creates identity. And that's what India is doing. No longer begging for spare parts, no longer second-guessing itself, no longer settling for almost good enough. Instead, India is Hyson, innovating in stealth tech, exporting to dozens of countries, challenging the monopoly of global defense giants. That's not just progress. That's power earned. When you build for yourself, you build forever. You know what lasts longer than borrowed power? Built power, earned power, indigenous power. India is proving with every missile test, every indigenous drone launch, every AI-guided command system, that the future belongs to those who build it for themselves. And now, for the first time in history, India isn't just on the world stage, it's designing the stage. Here's what no one tells you. The most powerful nations aren't the ones with the biggest bombs. They're the ones with the clearest vision. India is no longer just reacting to the defense needs of today, it's laying down the foundation for a defense ecosystem built for 2050 and beyond, not just 2025. And it's doing this across every frontier of modern warfare: space, cyber, AI, unmanned systems, energy weapons, quantum computing. This isn't about catching up anymore. This is about taking the lead in a world that's changing faster than ever. Space is not the final frontier, it's the next battlefield. Let's start with space. India's military isn't just watching the stars, it's weaponizing the space domain with laser focus. Anti-satellite weapons with Antex is demonstrated the ability to destroy satellites in orbit. That's rarefied territory. Only a few nations have it. Defense satellites, ISRO and DRDO, are building specialized military satellites to provide secure communications, early warning systems, and real-time surveillance across the globe. This means Indian defense systems are now plugged into space intelligence 24/7. And in the next conflict, whoever owns the sky and space above it owns the outcome. Cyber defense and AI, the invisible arsenal. The battlefield isn't just land, air, or sea anymore. It's your internet, your power grid, your satellites, your banking systems. India is investing heavily in AI-based cybersecurity command centers, predictive threat modeling to detect cyber attacks before they occur, digital command and control systems integrated with real-time battlefield data. In short, Indian defense is getting smarter, not just stronger. It's no longer about who has the most guns. It's about who can control the systems that power the guns. And India is learning how to control them better than ever before. Drones, swarms, and unmanned dominance. The Indian military isn't waiting for imported drones anymore. They're building autonomous drone swarms that can fly into enemy territory undetected. They're working on loitering munitions, kamikaze drones that hover and strike at the perfect moment. They're developing underwater drones for deep sea surveillance. This is warfare with no human pilots, no direct contact, just machines thinking and acting faster than human reflexes allow. If the future of combat is unmanned, India is already halfway there. Next-gen weapons, lasers, hypersonics, and directed energy, India's DRDO and private defense partners are developing. Laser weapons that can neutralize drones and missiles mid-air. Hypersonic missiles that travel at speeds above Mach 5, impossible to intercept with current air defense systems. Electromagnetic railguns in early prototyping. A weapon that fires projectiles using magnets, not explosives. These aren't science fiction. These are proof of concept weapons already tested or in final development stages. And here's the crazy part. 10 years ago, people would have laughed at the idea of India building this tech. Today, they're copying the blueprints. The bigger picture, strategic autonomy. Everything India is doing now is building toward one goal: strategic autonomy. The ability to defend, deter, and dominate without needing to ask anyone for permission. That means no more begging for spare parts, no more dealing with sanctions, no more stalling military operations because of global politics. India is creating a system so advanced, so self-reliant, so future-funked, that no power on Earth can delay, deny, or disrupt its defense capability again. You can't copy the future. You have to build it. Here's the truth. Copying doesn't make you powerful. Power comes from doing the hard work no one else wants to do. And India is doing it. It's building labs when others build bunkers. It's investing in engineers when others invest in propaganda. It's thinking decades ahead because that's where victory lives. This is more than a military buildup. It's a future-proofing revolution. And while the world is trying to keep up, India is quietly racing ahead, designing a future where it doesn't just defend itself. It defines the battlefield.